Hi guys, welcome back to the DigiCoach Academy. My name's Leanne, I'm your trainer, and today I'm going to be talking you through deadlift and how to do a deadlift safely. So why would you want to do a deadlift? Because it is the fundamental exercise that is needed for most lifts for the lower body. So variations of a deadlift like RDL, SDL, single leg deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, dumbbell deadlifts, this is with a barbell. This is how I learn. I'm going to take you through it. And the part of the body that it works is predominant in the lower body. Your lower back is strengthening as well because the weight's at the front, so your paraspinals are counteracting that and keeping you upright. You've got fixator muscles going on to keep that posture with a heavy weight, and of course you've got your glutes, your hamstrings, your hip flexors, your calves, your tibialis anterior, and you can distribute your weight evenly over your body. You're practicing that skill as well for everyday life, which is great if you've been through pregnancies. So if you progress holding a good amount of weight with the deadlift, you know that you've got a good strong pelvic girdle, you're nice and stable, which is the foundation of the building, as you can see it. You've got to have a good amount of back strength as well, and lower body, and we know health is from building as much muscle as possible, and that comes from the glutes, biggest muscle in the body. So first I'm going to teach you the get set position, so you can take this with you throughout the rest of your life as well. This is a proper lifting. Even children, especially my two, I see them sometimes picking stuff up off the floor and bending at the lower back, and this puts a lot of strain on the back when you're bending at the back. So instead we want to use the knees more, chest proud. So think of a squat. So with a deadlift, this is a squat, you can go as deep as you want with a squat, right? The weight's in the heels, your knees over your shoelaces, hips back, chest proud, shoulders back, core engaged, okay? From here, you can pick up your weight, but you would really never want your hips to go any lower than your knees. So let's bring that up a little bit, and then you fold more at the hips, okay? So that's your get set position. I recommend starting with a low weight. You want roughly about 40 kilograms on, because you need to be able to feel it, right? And part of the get set position, we're not bending at the back at all. We've got our neutral spine, our natural curvature of the spine. Feet underneath the bar. You can come a little bit closer so that your legs are almost touching the bar. Now, if you're not lifting very heavy, you can go over hand grip or one over, one under. And this just stops the bar from rolling about. I'm going to get into the get set position, okay? So like I said, it's like a squat, but your hips never go as low. What I do see is some people having trouble with flexion at the hips. Again, I will show you from the side. So once you've got hold of the bar, so your arms are just on the outer parts of your knees, shoulders back, chest proud, core engaged, then we lift. Chest proud, right? And then as we come down again, so the weight stays very close to the body. Make sure it doesn't bump off the knees. It's you going back. The bar is just tracking up and down, squeezing and driving up with the glutes and the lower body. Chest proud. Deep breaths. It is taxing on the cardio because you're using such big muscle groups, keeping that core engaged. Make sure you're bending at the knee as well as the hip. I'm going to show you that from the side. Now, it is a really good idea to watch yourself in the mirror. And a lot of clients, when starting out with a deadlift or Romanian deadlift, there's a lot to remember and take in, right? So I'll have them do a few squats first. And then I'll compare the two, as in like it's a little bit like a squat, but you don't go as low. And there's more hip flexion, less in the knee. So overhand grip. Before you lift, make sure everything's engaged and my elbows are on the outer part of my knee, nice and stable. And you roughly want to be hip width apart stance, okay? And up. Chest proud. What I do see a lot of is hyperextension, and you're dumping a lot of weight in your lower back there. Just be careful with that. And as people begin to fatigue, so as you can see, my knees are bending the same time as my hips as I stand. They extend same time as my hips. As you begin to fatigue, it will start to look like this. See how it's slightly out of sync, or it might be there's a lot more in the lower back. So make sure you're bending at the knee and the hip same time. It's a good idea to video your technique as well. And once you've got a good deadlift, roughly 10 reps of, you see how out of breath it makes you, then you can start progressing to other variations of deadlifts like RDLs, where you can do this with a barbell as well. RDLs, and they are my favourites for the hamstrings. That's soft knees, hips back, and you're almost belly to thigh there. You feel a stretch in the hamstrings. But whereas a normal deadlift, a conventional deadlift, we're bending more at the knee, and the hips don't go the hips don't go lower than the knees. So if you can't reach the bar, I recommend you to put it upright on blocks or plates underneath. But what I do see a lot of, and I'm not going to do this with a heavy weight because it is dangerous, is not much bend at the hips. They stop here because they feel the tightness on the hamstrings because these people are tight, and they start rounding the shoulders and bending back, and they think that that's a deadlift. And with a heavy weight, that's an injury waiting to happen. People with tight hamstrings, tight posterior like calves and glutes and lower back, what I have them do is partial reps, so getting a lighter weight. And because we need your hips to come right back, then bend at the knees, they may practice that only. You're still working your lower back, the technique, the hamstring stretch you're still getting into. It's not totally pointless. First thing that happens with any deadlift, hips come back. So think of like a wall behind you and you're trying to touch a button with your butt. So that's the first thing that happens when you're coming down and up. And of course, if you get really good at the deadlift as well, you can move on to cleans, power cleans, snatch, single arm stuff. But it all starts with deadlift and squats. So it's really important that you do get really strong in these lifts. Let me know in the comments if you've got any requests and you're not sure about how to do certain exercises, and I'll keep uploading these videos. Bye guys.